At 8:17 a.m., Celina Mays walked out of her apartment and into a void. Her coffee steamed on the counter. Her journal lay open to a single sentence. If I disappear, don't look for me. Look at who I wasn't. Asterisk, but here's what did vanish. Every digital trace of her life. Her phone, bank accounts, even her fingerprints in the system, gone. And left behind, a single red rose, pristine, thornless, and asterisk impossibly untouched by time. This isn't a story about a missing girl. It's about a ghost who erased herself, unless someone unmade her first. There are over 600,000 missing persons reported every year. Most are found within days. But some slip through the cracks of a system drowning in paperwork, biases, and noise. Celina Mays wasn't a statistic. She was a 22-year-old who mixed honey into her black coffee because life's bitter enough. A woman who laughed so hard she'd snort, then blush for hours after. A soul who texted her mom goodnight every single evening, until October 14th, 2022, the day her name stopped being Celina and became case number 42791. This isn't a story about a girl who vanished. It's about how easy it is to disappear in plain sight. How a life full of proof, selfies, bank records, footprints, can dissolve like smoke. And how the people left behind are forced to grieve someone who's neither here nor there. Celina's coffee cup still sits on her kitchen counter. Cold now, stained with her lipstick. A half-moon of burgundy that nobody's dared to wash away. Because erasing it would mean admitting what they all fear. That the world moved on long before she ever left it. To understand how someone disappears, you first have to see how they lived. Celina Mays wasn't just a face on a flyer. She was the kind of person who'd stop mid-sidewalk to rescue a caterpillar from being stepped on. Who'd wear mismatched socks, purple polka dots with neon stripes, because rules are for people who aren't paying attention. She spent weekends volunteering at an animal shelter, bottle-feeding kittens too small to hiss. But her true passion? Painting murals. Not the kind you ignore on your commute, the kind that stare back. Her last piece, unfinished, sprawls across an alleyway downtown. A galaxy of starfish, each arm splitting into constellations. She told her roommate it was about surviving the impossible. But in her journal, pages smudged with acrylics and espresso stains, she wrote something darker. Starfish don't just regrow limbs. They abandon them to survive. Her friends called her the human glue. When her neighbor's dog died, she left a handwritten note and a bag of homemade dog treats at their door. No name, just a starfish doodle. When her classmate got dumped, Celina showed up unannounced with a tub of mint chocolate chip and a terrible rom-com queued up. But here's what they missed. The way she'd flinch when someone hugged her too quickly. The insomnia that kept her painting until 3 a.m. The single sentence scribbled in her journal 3 days before she vanished. I keep trying to outrun the version of me everyone expects to see. We all wear masks. Celina's was just better crafted. Because who would ever suspect the girl who glued others together was secretly coming undone? Let's walk through October 14th, 2022, minute by minute. The last day Celina Mays was seen alive. 8:03 a.m. Celina's alarm goes off. She snoozes it twice. Her roommate, Leah, hears her humming in the shower, a habit she'd had since high school. The song? Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. 8:17 a.m. Celina leaves her apartment. She's wearing a gray hoodie, black leggings, and white sneakers with a starfish doodled on the heel in permanent marker. Surveillance footage shows her checking her phone twice before locking the door. She doesn't look back. 8:29 a.m. She stops at Cafe Riven, 3 blocks from her apartment. Orders a chai latte with oat milk and a blueberry muffin. The barista, Marco, later tells police she seemed normal, but distracted. She pays cash, leaves a $2 tip. 8:43 a.m. Celina texts her mom. Love you. See you Sunday. Sunday was their weekly dinner date, pot roast and reruns of Friends. Her mom replies, don't forget the wine. Smiling face with smiling eyes, Celina doesn't open the message. 9:15 a.m. She arrives at campus. Security cameras catch her entering the art studio alone. Her professor, Dr. Ellis, claims she was working on her starfish mural. But when police reviewed the footage, they noticed something odd. Celina isn't holding a paintbrush. She's just staring at the wall. 4:22 minutes. 11:47 a.m. She leaves the studio. Walks to her car, a 2010 Honda Civic with a Save the Turtles bumper sticker. Sits in the driver's seat for 6 minutes. Doesn't start the engine. Doesn't cry. Doesn't move. 12:03 p.m. Her phone pings for the last time. Location: a gas station 12 miles north of campus. Surveillance shows her car pulling in. She buys a bottle of water and a pack of gum. The cashier says she asked for directions to Highway 22. When he pointed her to the map on the wall, she replied, "Maps don't help when you're lost inside your head." 12:17 p.m., her phone dies, or is turned off, or destroyed. 12:22 p.m., a traffic camera captures her car merging onto Highway 22. She's alone, windows rolled up, hands firm on the wheel. 1:15 p.m., her car is spotted again, 200 miles away, passing through the town of Brecker. A toll booth camera snaps a blurry photo. Driver's seat appears empty, but the angle is bad. The light is worse. 3:30 p.m., Leah, her roommate, texts her. "You forgot your charger." Unamused face, no response. 6 p.m., Leah files the missing persons report. She tells police Celina would never just leave. But here's what she doesn't tell them: the half-packed suitcase under Celina's bed, clothes for warm weather, a passport, $300 in cash, and a sticky note stuck to the lid. "Earn this if I'm not back by Monday." 6:45 p.m., officers search her apartment. They find her laptop. The search history? Wiped clean. Not by a pro, just someone who panicked and deleted everything, except for one typo-filled Google search from 4:32 a.m. that morning. How to disappear completely. 8 p.m., her car is found, abandoned in a Walmart parking lot. Keys in the ignition, wallet in the glove box, $43 cash, ID, credit cards, all untouched. No fingerprints but hers. No signs of struggle. Just a melted vanilla candle on the dashboard, still warm. But here's the detail that doesn't fit: a single red rose on her windshield. No note, no fingerprints, no security cameras in that corner of the lot. A florist later identifies it as a black Baccarat rose, a rare velvety crimson breed. Only sold at one shop in Brecker, the town her car passed through hours earlier. So let's ask the real questions. Why did she pack a suitcase but leave her wallet? Why drive 200 miles just to vanish in a Walmart parking lot? Who left that rose? And why does its scent linger in every photo of the scene? Or maybe the better question is, who did Celina become in those final hours? Because the girl who left the apartment at 8:17 a.m. wasn't the same one who bought gum at that gas station, or drove 200 miles in silence, or stared at a mural she'd painted 100 times like she'd never seen it before. People don't vanish in a day. They vanish in moments. And Celina's moments? They're screaming at us from the gaps in this timeline. But no one's listening. Let's dissect the evidence. Not the theories, not the rumors. The cold, hard facts that refuse to add up. 3 days after Celina vanished, her car was found in a Walmart parking lot. Not hidden, not abandoned in some remote forest. Parked neatly between a minivan and a pickup truck, as if she'd just run inside for groceries. The keys were still in the ignition. The driver's seat? Adjusted perfectly for her height. Her wallet sat in the glove box, $43 cash, a library card, a half-used tube of cherry chapstick. All untouched. No blood, no fingerprints but hers. No signs of struggle, just stillness. But here's what they found on the dashboard: a vanilla-scented candle melted into a puddle of wax. Still slightly warm, as if it had been burning until minutes before the car was discovered. Now ask yourself, why would Celina or anyone light a candle in a parked car and then walk away? Was it a signal, a ritual, or just a nervous habit from a girl who hated the smell of gasoline? The police didn't care. They called it a non-issue. But let's keep digging. Her journal, the one with the starfish sketches and midnight ramblings, was missing. Not in her apartment, not in her car. Gone. Her laptop, though, left behind on her desk. The hard drive had been wiped clean. Not by a hacker, not by some sophisticated software, by someone frantically smashing the delete button until their fingers ached. Except for one file, recovered from the depths of the recycling bin, a blurry photo of a highway rest stop sign. The timestamp? October 14th, 12:09 p.m., the same day she vanished. But none of this compares to the rose. A single red rose, left perfectly centered on her windshield. No thorns, no imperfections, just velvety crimson petals still damp with dew. Police assumed it was a prank, a fluke, until a florist 200 miles away identified it as a black Baccarat rose, a rare hybrid only grown in controlled greenhouses. The closest shop that sold them? A tiny store in Brecker, a town Celina had never visited. A town her car just happened to pass through hours before she disappeared. Let me repeat that. A rose from a town she had no ties to was placed on her car in a parking lot she never should have been in. A rose that costs $25 per stem. A rose that someone bought, handled, and left behind without a single fingerprint. Not even Celina's. Now, the obvious question, did she buy it herself? Unlikely. The florist's security footage from that day was accidentally erased. The credit card records? A dead end. Cash, always cash. So here's what we're left with. A candle that shouldn't have been warm. A rose that shouldn't have existed. A laptop wiped clean, except for a photo of a sign she drove past hours before vanishing. And a journal that someone really didn't want us to read. The police called it a routine disappearance. A stressed-out girl running from her life. But since when do routine disappearances involve $25 roses and spotless crime scenes? Since when do they leave behind clues that feel less like evidence and more like breadcrumbs? The scariest part isn't the mystery. It's the precision. Whoever did this, whether it was Celina or someone else, knew how to vanish. Knew how to leave just enough to haunt us, but not enough to matter. Because that's the truth about silence. It's not empty. It's loud, and every unanswered question screams. But here's what they all ignore. That vanilla candle. The one that stayed warm too long. The one that smells like her favorite ice cream. The one that makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, she's still out there, lighting another, waiting for someone to follow the smoke. When someone vanishes, people need answers. So they invent them. Let's dissect the theories, not because they lead anywhere, but because they show how desperate we are to pretend darkness has rules. Theory 1, the stalker. Celina's neighbor claims a man in a navy hoodie lingered near her apartment for weeks. Always smoking, always staring at her window. Police found cigarette butts in the bushes, Marlboro Reds. But here's the catch, no DNA. No photos, just smoke. And guess what? That man, he vanished too. Poof, gone the same week Celina disappeared. Coincidence? Or a ghost who never existed? Theory 2, the boyfriend. Yes, she'd ghosted her ex, Ryan, 2 months prior. But here's what the headlines omit. Ryan was in rehab when she vanished. His alibi? Rock solid. Texts show he'd sent her one message the night before. I hope you find peace. Not I'll kill you. Not you'll regret this. Peace. The one thing neither of them found. Theory 3, she fled. The half-packed suitcase. The deleted search history. The typo-ridden, how to disappear completely. Maybe she wanted out. A new life. But why leave the $300 cash behind? Why abandon her passport? And why drive 200 miles only to leave her car in a Walmart parking lot? If you're running, you don't stop at the edge of the cliff. You jump. Theory 4, the copycat. 6 months before Celina vanished, another woman disappeared 80 miles away. Similar age, similar brown hair, similar no-struggle car abandonment. But that woman's body was found 2 weeks later in a river. Celina's? Still missing. So either the pattern's a coincidence, or someone learned how to vanish better. Theory 5, the truth no one wants. A leaked police memo mentions an unnamed person of interest. A man seen buying black Baccarat roses at the Brecker florist the day Celina's car passed through. He paid cash, wore a baseball cap, left without a word. But here's where it gets foggy. The florist's camera malfunctioned that day. The receipt? Lost. The man's description? Average height, average build, average everything. A shadow. A rumor. A dead end. You see the problem? Every theory is a bridge to nowhere. A stalker with no face. A boyfriend with no motive. A runaway who left her money behind. A rose that costs more than her weekly groceries. A system too swamped to care. A family too broken to fight. But here's what keeps me up at night: the lack of evidence. No body, no scream, no fingerprints, no rage, just silence. And silence isn't empty. It's a void that swallows logic. So let's stop pretending this is a puzzle. Let's stop saying someone knows something, because maybe no one does. Maybe Celina's case isn't a mystery. It's a mirror, and what's staring back isn't a monster. It's the terrifying truth that sometimes people vanish, and the only thing left behind is our refusal to believe they wanted to. When someone disappears, they don't just take their future. They rewrite the past. Every memory becomes a question. Every keepsake a landmine. Celina's mother, Linda, still sleeps with her daughter's hoodie tucked under her pillow. The left sleeve smells like Celina's vanilla perfume. The right, like acrylic paint. Every Thanksgiving, Linda sets a plate for her, a chipped ceramic dish Celina made in third grade. She fills it with mashed potatoes, extra butter, just how she liked them. And every year, when the plate goes cold, Linda scrapes the food into the trash. But she leaves the dish on the table. For days, weeks, until the potatoes crust over and the gravy grows mold. "It's proof she was here," she says. "Proof I didn't imagine her." Her best friend, Mara, runs a tattoo parlor 2 blocks from where Celina vanished. She inks starfish on wrists, ankles, collarbones, $20 each, all proceeds going to missing persons groups. But here's the secret. Every starfish is slightly imperfect. 5 arms? No. She adds a 6th, a 7th. Because Celina hated symmetry, Mara says. She said perfect things don't look alive. Clients don't know they're wearing tributes to a ghost. They just think it's a cute beach thing. And then there's the mural. Celina's starfish constellation still stretches across that downtown alley. The paint is cracked now, tagged with graffiti. But if you look close, you'll see fresh flowers piled beneath it. Daisies, lilies, even a single black Baccarat rose, left every October 14th. No one knows who brings them. The homeless man who sleeps nearby says it's always a different person. A woman in a hoodie, a kid on a bike, a man humming. Here comes the sun. But here's what no one talks about. The people left behind aren't just grieving. They're haunted. Celina's roommate, Leah, still lives in their apartment. Celina's half of the closet remains untouched. Her unwashed bedsheets still hold the shape of her body. Leah won't admit it, but she sometimes wakes at 3 a.m., certain she hears Celina rustling through the fridge. "I know it's not her," she says, "but I still say hey out loud, just in case." And then there's the journal, the one the police never found, the one someone or something took. 6 months after Celina vanished, pages started appearing online. Scanned anonymous posts on obscure forums. A snippet about her fear of highways. A sketch of a rose with thorns like spider legs. A poem titled How to Disappear Completely in 12 Steps. The police called them hoaxes. Her family called them torture. But the posts, they kept coming. Always at 8:17 a.m. Always signed with a starfish. We want to believe the dead or the vanished speak to us. That they send signs. That they're angry or sad or anything but gone. But Celina's case isn't a ghost story. It's a funeral without a body. A wound that can't scab over. So we cling to what's left. A lipstick-stained coffee cup. A mural that's more cracks than paint. A mother who eats moldy potatoes. And a question that refuses to die. Was any of it real? Or did we invent the girl in the stories to fill the silence? Because the truth is this. The longer someone's gone, the less they belong to themselves. They become our fears. Our obsessions. Our ghosts. Celina Mays doesn't exist anymore. She's a starfish on a stranger's wrist. A flicker in a rearview mirror. A name carved into a park bench by someone who never knew her. And maybe that's the most terrifying vanishing act of all. Celina's case isn't cold. It breathes. It watches. You feel it when you're alone in a parking lot, keys clenched between your knuckles. When you glance over your shoulder at footsteps that don't exist. When you lie awake wondering, how many people have walked past me who'll vanish tomorrow? Every day, 1,600 names are added to the missing persons database. 1,600 stories reduced to height, weight, last seen clothing. Some are found, most are forgotten. But the ones like Celina, they don't haunt just their families. They haunt us. The strangers who watch their stories in the dark, scrolling past bedtime. The ones who think, it could have been me. Look at the stars tonight. Go ahead, I'll wait. See how they flicker? Like someone's turning the lights on and off, begging to be noticed. That's what vanishing does. It doesn't erase a person. It turns them into a signal. A flare shot into the void. Maybe you've seen them and didn't know it. The woman at the bus stop, staring at her phone with hollow eyes. The man buying a one-way ticket at 3 a.m., hands trembling. The teenager laughing too loud at a party, like they're rehearsing for a role. They're all potential Celinas. And the scariest part? You'll never know which ones will disappear. Which ones will become a mural. A tattoo. A plate of cold mashed potatoes. The police close cases. Families close caskets. But the rest of us? We carry the ghosts. We're the ones who notice the woman at the grocery store with a starfish drawn on her hand. Who pause at alleyway murals. Who wonder, just for a second, if the person who left their car running outside your apartment is about to become a question mark. So tonight, do this for me. Walk to your window. Look at the street lamp across from you. Notice how its light doesn't reach the ground. It just hangs there, suspended in the dark. That's what vanishing is. A light that never touches Earth. A person suspended between was and is. Celina Mays is out there. Not in the way we want. Not in the way that heals. But in the way that matters. In the way that makes us check our locks twice. Text our moms, "I love you," for no reason. Stare a little longer at the stranger who seems off. Because here's the truth no one says. We're all one bad day away from becoming a starfish on a mural. A typo in a search history. A name whispered in a YouTube video like this one. So keep your eyes open. Not for Celina, but for the ones still here. The ones whose cracks are starting to show. The ones who might still be saved before they learn how to disappear. Good night, Celina. Wherever you are.